you've been following the channel since the beginning, you would know that Sonic the Hedgehog is something that I hold close to my heart. And if you're a gamer, Sonic has probably left a mark on you in some way, shape, or form. For me, Sonic is what got me into gaming. My very first console I had was the Sega Genesis, and at the time it came bundled with Sonic the Hedgehog 2. Sonic and Mario dominated the 90s video game era, and it was always a competition between Super Nintendo and the Sega Genesis. And in the end, we all know that Mario wins. Even though Sega no longer makes consoles, they have gone the route of being a developer, and they are still going strong by making games for next-gen consoles. Let's take a trip back to the early 2000s for a bit. No, not that early. There we go. Since Sonic 06 was a complete waste of time for all gamers, Sega needed to redeem themselves, and quickly. Enter Sonic Unleashed. In my opinion, Sega went way off the beaten path with this one by introducing the Hedgehog transformation. We will talk more about this transformation later in the video. I'm going to be straightforward with y'all. I am not a fan of this game, and I'll tell you why. Sonic is speed, plain and simple. But I feel like I owe you more than just a simple 3-word statement, and I will give it to you in the form of a review video. I'm the 90s Metal Gamer, and welcome to the 90s Metal Gamer channel. Growing up in the 90s, I wanted to be like Sonic. Fast. Very fast. Every time I got a new pair of shoes, I felt like I could run faster and jump higher. And as I got older, I realized that it didn't exactly work like that. I actually needed to go out and exercise and work out if I wanted to get faster. Reality sucks, and so does adulting. Sonic had a really rough time after its peak in the 90s, and Sega has been doing whatever they can to make Sonic great again. No pun intended. Sonic Unleashed just wasn't the vibe though. Although I will say that Sega made a good comeback with Sonic in 2011 with Sonic Generations, and again in 2017 with Sonic Mania. And for those that are asking if I played Sonic Forces or Sonic Colors, no, I did not play them. But from what I understand in the reviews, that they were just as amazing as Sonic Generations and Sonic Mania. Furthermore, there was a re-release of Sonic Colors in the PlayStation 4 and PlayStation 5 in 2001, completely remastered from the ground up. And from what I understand, it looks absolutely amazing. And it looks like Sega has found their footing again with Sonic. I have my fingers crossed because I yearn to relive my 90s childhood with Sonic again. Sega even has another Sonic game releasing later this year titled Sonic Frontiers. And from my perspective, after looking at the trailer, it looks like it's what they wanted Sonic 06 to be. Okay, I'm starting to get way off topic here, as I do with every review video. We are here to review Sonic Unleashed. Yes, I did use cheats. I used an infinite lives cheat and an infinite health cheat. And for the sake of not recording any unnecessary footage on my hard drive, I only focused on the main story mission and less about the side story missions. So before I start to ramble on any further, please join me while I review Sonic Unleashed for the Wii. Let's get into it.
I want to see your tiny head.
I need to put a disclaimer on here. Originally, I had 11 hours of footage recorded from finishing this game. Unfortunately, one of my files was corrupted from my capture card and I lost about 3.5 hours. But I can guarantee you, you will not be missing much. Sonic Unleashed was released in 2008 for the Wii, Xbox 360, and PS3. We will be reviewing the Wii version. There are some minor differences in the Wii version, but it's nothing to write home about, and it does not change how I feel about this game. From my perspective, Sega was desperate in trying to recover from the atrocity of Sonic 06 and develop this out of damage control.
It's a bold strategy, Cotton. Let's see if it pays off for him.
Spoiler alert, it does not. Right now it seems all I'm doing is bashing this game. And I am. It is well deserved for disrespecting such a legendary icon. For as much as I disliked this game, there were some redeeming qualities that got my attention. Like turning it off after I finished it.
Gotcha, bitch!
But seriously, if it had not been for the Gecko OS on my Wii, I would not have been able to beat it. I consider myself to be a casual gamer. I like to enjoy my games and not be frustrated and want to rage quit, especially while playing a Sonic game. Okay. You get my point by now. I did not enjoy playing this game. On a more serious note, there were actually a few things I did enjoy about this game, and I will point them out during this review. Overall, the experience was mediocre at best. Literally every Sonic game has something to do with the 7 Chaos Emeralds, and this one is no different. Not necessarily a bad thing. At the beginning of the story, Sonic is confronting his arch nemesis, Dr. Eggman, aboard his flagship. Eggman then activated the ship's defenses and activated the cannons and bringing forth a horde of egg fighters. After seeing the obstacles, Sonic boosted forward and began dodging the batteries fired from the cannons. Bounding across the flagship, Eggman brought forth his mech and unleashed a flurry of machine gun fire. After running across the ceiling while dodging missiles, Sonic ran through the flagship's hallway. Eggman fired his mech's grappling hook-like arm and grabbed Sonic. After being pulled to Eggman in the mech's grasp, Sonic summoned the Chaos Emeralds from within himself and became Super Sonic in order to stop him. At this point, Eggman was starting to flee the scene. After chasing Eggman through space and destroying half of his fleet, they finally arrived at Eggman's research facility and knocking Eggman himself to the ground. As a trap, Eggman pretends to plead for mercy. When Sonic is close enough, he activates the Chaos Energy Cannon, which traps Sonic in the center and begins drawing the Chaos Energy out of Sonic and the Emeralds in a fashion that is clearly extremely painful for him. After the weapon is charged, Eggman fires a laser at the Earth to awake a monster known as Dark Gaia, and splitting the Earth. The dark energy of the emeralds is brought out by the ray, transforming Sonic into a monstrous version of himself and rendering the Chaos Emeralds gray and useless. Eggman then opens an airlock which sucks Sonic and drains the emeralds out into space and down to Earth. Sonic is saved from a fatal landing due to an unknown energy source. He still ends up taking a heavy fall though. After pulling himself out of the Earth, Sonic encounters a weird fairy monkey elf creature. Sonic then asks the creature what his name was, and the creature couldn't remember his own name, or history for that matter. Sonic thinks that he landed on him, which caused the memory loss. Sonic agrees to help out this monkey elf creature to restore his memory during their journey. After exploring the city of Apatos, Sonic names the creature Chip, and the two run into Tails at night. Tails immediately recognizes Sonic, even though he is in his werehog form, and reveals that Professor Pickle of Spagonia University may be able to help them out on their adventure. Speaking in terms of graphic design, the game isn't half bad at all. The daytime stages where you play as Sonic are very bright and colorful, just like the classic Sonic games. The pre-rendered cutscenes of Sonic are beautifully made and has even gotten a minor facelift in comparison to Sonic 06. Sega got daytime Sonic right. Now this is where it gets really stupid. During the nighttime, the stages are dark, as in minimal lighting, and honestly it is not something to be amazed by. The stages all look the same. In general, very unappealing. You play as Hedgehog Sonic during the nighttime stages, and he looks absolutely horrendous at face value. During the pre-rendered cutscenes, he is beautifully made though. That's because it's a pre-rendered cutscene. The up-close shots of Hedgehog Sonic during the gameplay looks like it was ripped from an early PS2 or PS1 game. The stages and boss fight graphic design are actually pretty good. But if I have to pick which version of Sonic that I like the best, it would have to be daytime Sonic. No competition at all. Alright, you already know what I'm about to do here. A shameless plug. If you like what you see, go ahead and like, follow, comment, share, and subscribe. And if you're new here, welcome to the channel. I hope you like my content. I'm still trying to grow my YouTube channel and I can't do it without your help. So if you like what you see, please consider subscribing to this channel and giving this video a like and commenting. It will go a long way. Alright, let's get back into it. What was great about this game was that I was able to use the GameCube controller. And if you know my preference, the GameCube controller is the greatest controller of all time. The bad thing about the gameplay was mostly everything Hedgehog Sonic related. This game plays terrible, but not in its entirety. Using the GameCube controller made playing this game slightly more tolerable as opposed to using the Wii motion sensing controller. And I'm using the term tolerable very loosely. Personally, I am not a fan of motion sensing gaming, unless it adds to the experience. A perfect example would be The Legend of Zelda: Skyward Sword. While playing the game, there was about a 3/4 of a second delay between pressing the buttons and the on-screen action, and the thumbstick sensitivity was way off the charts. A slight movement of the thumbstick could send Sonic off a trail or a path and lead him to his death. I initially thought it was my GameCube controller dying, so I switched it out with another GameCube controller, and the result was still the same. A 3/4 of a second delay and a super sensitive thumbstick, which is really inconvenient when I'm trying to time a jump. It was very noticeable during the warehouse stages, which was about 65% of the game. Now on the other hand, the Sonic stages were beautifully designed with speed being at the forefront of it all. Aside from the delays on the button pressing, the controls were fairly good when controlling daytime Sonic. Now, as far as controlling Hedgehog Sonic, it was a completely different story. Sonic is super slow, but he makes up for it in his added strength, which really isn't saying a whole lot about it. And instead of going through loop-de-loops, you'll be beating up a lot of Gaia baddies and massive hordes and solving minor puzzles. Even more so when you get to Eggman Land. Now that I think about it, playing as Hedgehog Sonic is very similar to God of War, except it's God of War from Wish. There were other elements that were similar to God of War, like collecting orbs to unlock combos, increasing health, and there's even a rage mode, which fails in comparison to God of War's Rage of Sparta. Playing as Sonic was definitely way more fun. Super fast and simple gameplay and somewhat okay controls. Then here comes Hedgehog and it all up. There's an overworld in which you use tails to fly across. You will visit different countries and talk to different people to find out exactly what you need to do to progress in a point and click style game. I thought that was stupid. You talk to one person who tells you to talk to another person who tells you to talk to the first person again. Why? Ugh, I hate it here. I will be straightforward. The music is nothing fantastic. I personally felt like it was nothing memorable. Sonic 06 had a better OST than this. The daytime stages with Sonic had upbeat music that fit the gameplay, but once again, it's not worth anything remembering. Werehog Sonic had a lo-fi, jazzy-like feel to the music, which is really weird to have for a bipedal, shoe-wearing, ring-collecting monster. The music changes when Werehog Sonic enters a battle. It changes into some upbeat, jazzy-style music, which is, once again, really weird for a bipedal, shoe-wearing, ring-collecting monster. Not to mention that it was super annoying. Allow me to play a clip. Imagine hearing this every time you get into a fight scene. This is ridiculous! I would play other clips of the music, but I don't want to get a copyright strike. I am not a monetized channel, but that is the goal, and I'm doing my best to not get any community strikes on YouTube. On that note, if you like what you see, please subscribe to the channel. It'll help out a lot. I am a solo YouTuber, so I run everything by myself, and it takes a lot of work to go into my channels. I put in a lot of work and effort into my channel, so any support I get will go a very long way. To my day one supporters, I want you to know that I love you. Sonic the Hedgehog is something that I will always hold close to my heart, but y'all already know that. And it really pains me to see Sega go down this route of Sonic 06. This is absolutely terrible. I really don't like it. If this game was made without the Werehog transformation, I really do feel like this game would have been a whole lot better. But I will say that it's better than its predecessor, which is Sonic 06. We all know that we don't like this game on this channel. So with all that said and done, I give this game a water score of 2 out of 5 bottles of water. That's all the time we have for today, guys. So if you like what you see, go ahead and like, follow, comment, share, and subscribe. It really helps out the channel quite a bit. And if you're new here, welcome to the channel. I'm glad you found me. If you like what you see, please consider subscribing to the channel. It'll really help out a lot. Drop a comment for the algorithm and let me know what game should I review next. I love y'all. Y'all stay hydrated.